Ballers, welcome to Onside ZA, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Chiefs hit for 4 and a Manchester derby in Lisbon on a Champions League night. Joining me on the show today, Tsepi Worldwide.
Hey, darling.
Hello, darling.
How's it?
And also joining me is everybody's favorite super sub.
Angu.
And Len Moleko is looking for funders in Durban to buy out Royal AM and change them
to Bloemfontein.
To Celtic.
Maybe Bloem Celtic. Who else could they change them to?
I think it's going to be Morocco Swallows.
He loves the birds.
Yeah, he loves Morocco Swallows. So that's what he's busy doing. Ballers, let us know in the comments if someone were to buy Royal AM, which franchise would you want to see back? I have my own opinion on this. But ballers, let us know in the comments.
I want to give out my age now.
Who do you want?
Manning Rangers.
That's my one.
Is it?
That's my one because I wanted a Durban club to be a Durban club.
Okay.
Oh, cute.
Manning Rangers.
Let me see. How about
Hey, there's quite a few actually.
like a Thunder Royal Zulu?
It's quite recent. I didn't like
Yeah.
them anyway.
Is it?
Bloem Celtic is the one.
Bloemfontein, Celtics is.
We want those fans to have a
And I think
team.
commercially it makes sense for Bloemfontein Celtic
There
to
was
come back.
Bushbucks. I don't know if you remember
Yes.
Mtata Bushbucks. Quastars. Well, it became Free
Stars,
State.
Free State Stars, yes. Yes.
There was Hellenic as well, where Kevin Hunt played.
Where he started his career or somewhere there in the beginning.
There's quite a few actually.
Macoberry Studios, La Vida Loca, Bongani Chabalala,
Can I say how's it to gift real G?
D-Dope.
Is he here?
Gift, where are you?
Is he not there?
It's not here yet.
Not yet.
Are you late, Gift Real G? Yes, hello to all of you ballers. You know what's the big... Oh, D-Dope saying Hellenic and Santos.
It's Santos.
Orion
I will never
McT
buy
saying
Santos.
Platinum Stars. CEO also saying Platinum Stars. That's a good
Oh,
shout.
Northwest, yeah.
Free State
Representing
Stars, Dynamos, Black Aces.
Dynamos.
Are you sure for Black Aces?
And Bumalang Black Aces showed it's all Vilagazi Flames, eh?
And there was Tembisa Classic as well. And there's quite a lot.
Guys, nobody said Wits.
I also learned that,
Yeah, no. We're not that smart, are we now?
Clever boys.
guys, we miss you, Manelo. Where are you? Chigotwala?
Yes.
Still Chigotwala owned a team at some point, and Zovilagazi actually played for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I think I've delayed us long enough to not speak about Kaizer Chiefs' embarrassing defeat to Sundowns.
What a game, actually. Eh?
Was it a 4-0 super sub?
It was, I think. Are you referring to the officiating?
I'm more referring to the performance.
I think it was a very clean performance. Mamelodi Sundowns showed their dominance.
Yeah.
And
Could have been more than 4.
It could have been
Should have been more than 4 in the first half.
All departments were just functional on the day. And unfortunately for Kaizer Chiefs, the only functional department was the stands because they came out in numbers.
Okay, speaking of the stands, my only beef also was with the supporters.
What's that? What happened?
So a statement came out from Kaizer Chiefs, and the statement was saying that they are against players, number one, jumping onto the pitch, because that's exactly what they did. They were also throwing objects, plastic containers at referees and officials. There's also stories about, in fact, 3 of those supporters who went onto the pitch were arrested and went to court, appeared in a court yesterday on Monday. There's also 2 other supporters of Kaizer Chiefs who were selling fake tickets. They were also arrested. And Kaizer Chiefs came out, in fact, earlier on in the day, I believe around 1 o'clock, if I'm correct, came out to say that, number one, they do not... want this thing to be happening. They condemned their actions and went as far as saying that they will even endorse having these people, if they are, obviously going to do the same thing in future, they will endorse them not being able to be granted access to stadiums across the country in future.
Wow.
Oh, the national football ban.
Yeah.
It makes sense. We don't want that in our football. I think... especially this league, our football is shown that we are on a good trajectory, and we don't want such sins like destroying what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a brand that is sellable to the world, and for that we need all the stakeholders to be on par, and having fans as well doing such things. I think it just dilutes what South Africa is trying to build, and also I saw there were some fights in the stands as well, physical fights. I mean, we
They
don't want
also
to see
blamed
those things,
they also blamed alcohol. They said that the reason these people were acting the manner in which they were acting was because they were under the influence. They said that they saw even prior to the match that people were already under the influence, and that might have also contributed to them acting the way that they did. By the way, also, did you see Orlando Pirates got fined? I think it's 100,000.
Yeah, for throwing some stuff
Same.
at the fans. It's not good. It's bad for football. And such things needs to be dealt with. And I'm glad that Chiefs came out to condemn such behavior.
Yeah.
Especially these two franchises, the two longest running franchises,
Exactly,
the biggest names in African football, probably definitely the biggest names in South African football.
Yeah.
The fans need to conduct themselves better.
No, definitely.
And the clubs themselves. Just to backtrack a little bit, Vuyo saying that Jomo Cosmos would be his pick to come back. They must be like Royal AM.
Jomo Cosmos still exists. We're talking about teams that are like...
Guys, I have a fact about Jomo Cosmos.
But I think that the only way Jomo Cosmos stays in the PSL is if they pull a Royal AM, but instead of the chairman playing, must be the manager.
That's funny.
If the manager's playing for Jomo Cosmos, then they'll survive PSL.
Yeah.
Yes, Jomo Cosmos also holds the record for being the only team in the country that has never fired their coach.
Jomo,
They never will. The elephant in the room. Okay. So back to the performance. Were Chiefs that bad? Were Sundowns that good? Was it a bit of both?
I think it was a bit of both. And if you look at, especially at the youngsters, I mean, even how the first goal was conceded, it's Zwane, as a youngster, you're just outside your box. Why are you doing tricks? Why are you flicking the ball? You just flick the ball to opposition and
It's
then
for vibes, friend.
That's the problem, These kids need to understand that a game of that magnitude, you can't make such kind of silly mistakes, and I think those mistakes sort of like cost Chiefs, and that's why I think Coach
Mangob.
was saying that their reliance on the youngsters could be like deadly in terms of having so much load for the boys. But I think those boys need to understand that if they look at their counterparts overseas, they are playing at the age of 17, and they're taking those games seriously, and they are going out there to actually take their teams to bigger heights. If you look at a player like Phil Foden, if you look at Yamal, what he's doing for Barcelona right now at the age of 17, he plays like a season out, season in player,
I agree. I think that when we look at European football, there's definitely a sense of professionalism amongst younger players. Whereas I think perhaps we're more comparable with Brazilian football, where the players have a lot of skill and quality and promise and potential and talent.
Yeah.
But there's less professionalism amongst young players in Brazilian football.
So dummies in the
until
rough.
until they go to Europe and that's sort of pushed into them. So I think there's an opportunity for certain clubs to assert some level of dominance if they're able to push that level of professionalism into younger players. It could give you an edge and opportunity. And let's be honest, is that not now currently Stellies?
Okay, I have a question. Yes, potentially, because Coach Mangoba was really emphasizing the importance of protecting young players, right? He was saying protect them and don't put too much reliance on them.
Yeah, but at the age of 20, in football terms, you're not necessarily young. That's when you are starting to develop to be a fully fledged player. And I mean, we've seen out there how like your Messi's came into this into the fold. Your Ronaldos. They started young and they were doing big things. And I think we must stop this thing of calling our 22-year-olds young in terms of football. They're not young. They need to be carrying their teams. And I think Coach Nabi is very well within his right to rely on them because they are the first team players and they need to show why they've got those contracts.
But is it going to be costly in the long run?
It might be costly, but I think you learn from mistakes. And I think the most important thing is that what do you do from this? You know, do you need to encourage your players, which I like about Coach Nabi, because he doesn't throw his players under the bus. He's always there in their corner to defend them all the time, you know. And as Mangwabama is just maybe like, I don't understand why he's so concerned about Kaizer Chiefs while he was the same player that said
when Hugo
exactly, you know, when Hugo was talking about his team, he came out to say, "Hey, manage your affairs, I'll manage mine."
Hear me out, Marco, because you are a Kaizer Chiefs supporter. As it stands, given the most recent performances of Kaizer Chiefs, do we see them at least making a top 4 finish at the end of the season? Is it still too early?
It is too early to say, but I think before the season started, we said, Chiefs fans, manage your expectations. You're not going to win the league. You're not going to compete. You're not going to push. They had a very good start under Coach Nabi. And you look at the recent run of results, 4-0 to Sundowns, obviously the most damning. 2-2 with Magesi in the league.
What does that say,
1-0 loss to SuperSport in the league. They had the 4-0 win in the knockout against SuperSport before that, but then a loss to Sundowns. But before that, the form was quite good. There was the one loss to Cape Town Spurs along the way. Cape Town City, rather.
Yep.
Apologies. And yeah, so that's just looking at that run of results. The start of the season, the promise that was shown was a blimp.
Okay.
You know, it was just a blip in the...
Is this a rude awakening for Coach Nabi? Because it does look like Kaizer Chiefs are back to what they were prior to the beginning of this season.
Precisely. My question is like, okay, hold up. So you won 4-0 against a relatively formidable SuperSport United, right? And then you draw against the Magesi. Are we saying that Kaizer Chiefs needs to like up their game, or is Magesi upping theirs?
Their bad results did not only come up against Magesi. Actually, with Magesi, they did fairly well because they were 2-0 down and came back to salvage a draw, you know. But I mean, it's the inconsistency that has been there prior, you know, and we start to see it again raising its ugly head for Kaizer Chiefs, you know. And I think Coach Nabi now is starting to realize that he's got a mountain to climb, and I think there's a whole lot of changes that are going to happen in January come the transfer window. And it's sad to see, because I mean, it started like Chiefs was going to be a house on fire this season, but it does look like they're going to what they were.
Yeah, look, the game shouldn't have been 4-0. Should have been a lot more.
Should have been a lot more. And also, you can't go pound to pound with Mamelodi Sundowns. You are Kaizer Chiefs. They're gonna hurt you. They've got the personnel. They're gonna hurt you.
21 shots for Sundowns in the game.
See,
8 on target, but 21 shots. They were wasteful. Let's be honest. Last word on the game: Inacio Miguel. Tough start to life at Chiefs.
How many yellow cards, man? That guy is collecting yellow
what
cards
is
like
it?
they're going out of
5 yellow cards in 4 games.
Imagine that.
So is that then...
Well, he's got a ban automatically anyway because of the red card, right? So
yeah, of course, yeah.
I
so
think
he's saying
that
he's being a
resets
bad boy?
I don't know.
Disciplinary issues?
No, I think that's... You look at his yellow cards, particularly the second one on Saturday.
Yeah.
You look at that second yellow card, and it's him being caught out of position, caught tracking back, unable to do anything, foul the player. You know, professional foul. So I don't know if it's like a real bad boy thing, or if it's more along the lines of either the system is letting him down, or it's himself that he needs to be positionally better to not put himself in a position where he's forced or in more prone to receive a yellow.
Yeah, also, I agree with you on that one. I think it's a combination of both. The system, I think it's also failing him down. And also, remember, you know, the centre-back partnership, I think, takes time to build, you know, and I think they're still finding each other. However, the second yellow card, I feel like it was silly because there was actually cover, you know, the Shalulile one. There was actually cover. And as to why he ended up there and committing that foul, a player like him should know better. You're on a yellow. I mean, come on.
Chill, yeah. Zungu, guys.
Look, Kaizer Chiefs is in trouble.
Do they really need him in the midfield?
They need personnel. Kaizer Chiefs, I think their defense is fairly okay, but they don't have a destroyer. And I don't think Matt is cutting it. And the injury to Castillo, I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But I think a player like Zungu will actually add value to Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know if it's going to be financial valuable because it's actually expensive.
Hello.
But I definitely think he's going to add value because he's quality and he still has like good 2-3 seasons in him. Because they need to reinforce. You can tell from the way that they're playing that they need to reinforce. Their midfield is nowhere where it should be.
Bongani Chabalala saying Zungu no. Londwa Sabisi saying Ramos was getting many yellow cards and was still a very good player. I agree. I think that you see it. It's like you said, it's a combination of two things. Is that you need to adjust your game. You need to take some responsibility for the yellow cards, but the system also fails you. I mean, we can't talk about Casemiro negatively as a player. Went through a bad spell last season and was also getting booking after booking after booking.
Very
so sometimes
unlucky,
the system is failing you.
It's still climatizing as well. It's a new league.
Yeah.
I mean, the refereeing in leagues differ. I'm sure where it's coming from. They were not as strict as they are here. Lenient, so it's still climatizing as well. I think he's gonna get it right. But I still think he's a very good defender. You can see when he's on the field that he takes leadership. And he tries to marshal his defense and all of that. He's got all the attributes of a good defender.
Okay, probably the shock result of the weekend is just the sheer scoreline of that fixture. But Carling Knockout presenting other action in the quarterfinals. Magesi through to the semifinals.
Yeah,
Jesse is somehow cooking.
If you beat Orlando Pirates, you better go all the way, man.
You guys.
I think that almost every result went against what we were saying, other than we thought Sundowns would edge Chiefs, but it was a big... We thought it would be a good game.
Yeah.
It was entertaining just because of all the attack, but it wasn't a good game from a Chiefs perspective.
No,
they didn't
not at
present
all.
a game
From
at
neutrals,
all, right? From a neutrals perspective, entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Just to watch a team get demolished. And Coach Mankoba talking about how he was pleased with the professionalism of his side to keep going, be professional, don't be lenient on a side when you're burying them. But Richards Bay kicking out Cape Town City with 10 men. Okay, penalty shootout, but Richards Bay through. Speaking of Richards Bay, they are still trailing Orlando Pirates 1-0 in the Betway Premiership.
How many minutes remain?
2 minutes.
2 minutes remain.
Okay, so it's a 1-0 win for Orlando Pirates. Congratulations to them.
That's a good PSL scoreline there.
Yeah, I know.
A 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0.
You're still nervous there, Super Sub.
I am actually.
Yeah, okay. So that means we have Richards Bay, Magesi,
Marumo Gallants
Sundowns.
and Mamelodi Sundowns. How's that?
Yeah,
Sundowns have to be licking their lips at that.
definitely.
It's Richards Bay, Gallants, and Magesi.
Yeah.
So what's the
Pick
final
for the
going
weekend
to look
for
like?
me,
Yeah.
it's Mamelodi Sundowns against Gallants. And I think Mamelodi Sundowns is away to Gallants in Bloemfontein Celtic.
That's going to be so nice.
It's going to be so nice. And they're going to be motivated because the final is going to be played in the Toyota Stadium in Bloemfontein. So they're going to be so motivated.
And let's be honest, they've just kicked out the cup kings of the moment, the Stellies.
Guys, okay.
It was the holders of this title last season.
What are we saying about Stellies? Are we still saying, hey, they still have, stuff in order? What are we saying about Stellies?
They play good football. They're a good side. They're hard to beat.
Are they going to be a top 4 team again or top 3?
I think that'd be one of my favorites for a top 4. I think Pirates Sundowns is a given, right? For the top 4. So it's the other 2 positions. Stellies will be my favorite for the next place, the next pick for that top 4.
Super
so
side?
they're a good side.
They're a good side. I mean, this is a cup competition, You snooze, you lose in cup competition, Look at Orlando Pirates, they're out, Kaizer Chiefs, they just gone out. So, I mean, it's cup competition, but I think on the league, they will still do well. I still see them up there fighting for that 3rd or 2nd spot.
Commercially, guys, I mean, you want to have a final or semi-final that has, relatively well-known teams.
Yeah.
Do you think it's still going to attract the same type of excitement, seeing that, the top 4 teams or the 4 teams that are remaining right now does it matter?
South African football, I mean, you might not fill stadiums, but it's, I suppose, exciting for neutrals to see the minnows.
Yeah, but remember, I think they were very strategic about taking the the final to Bloemfontein, you know.
Strategic, ne?
You know,
Doesn't matter who's playing, football fans will show up.
Oksalayo, yeah.
you know, they love football there, and they've been deprived of football for years, you know. And I think taking it there, it's definitely gonna cause waves. They're gonna fill up that stadium easily.
Leno, you listening? We want we want Bloom Celtic back. Go get that funding. Go get that buyout. Okay, so Richards Bay versus Magesi. One of those two teams will be in the final. Marumo Gallants or Sundowns are waiting in the final.
Yeah.
I feel like when does the draw happening?
It happened.
It happened already.
So who's
they're
going?
playing Saturday and Sunday.
It's Saturday and
yes.
Sunday. It's this weekend.
Yes. So it's Sundowns versus
Gallants.
Gallants.
In Bloemfontein.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the final is going to be Sundowns and Magesi.
Interesting.
I think Magesi wants it.
Yeah, I think Magesi is gonna definitely go to the finals. Sundowns versus Gallants is gonna be exciting. Dense ball. I like the dense ball, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one, but they might just cause an upset, hey?
Sippy, you're a fan of Brendan Truter?
I love Brandon. I love Brandon. But
He was talking earlier this week, talking about how difficult it was to prepare for that game against Cape Town City on Saturday,
Why?
and then knowing there's only 3 games away from having to go to Orlando Stadium tonight.
Oh yes.
You know, he was talking about the difficulty of that and how he had sleepless nights. Tough, but still 1-0 down in the league.
That's not a bad outing.
Yeah. If Richards Bay are to survive the Betway Premiership at the end of the season, a cup run's the best thing they can do. Survive, have another season in the Betway Premiership, and have a good cup run. Maybe see
Definitely.
yourself in a final.
I think they're already successful if we are comparing to the Richards Bay of last season.
Yeah.
You remember how they were struggling last season? I mean, they almost got relegated, you know, so...
Can we also say that, when the season started, we naturally have this outlook, ne, that the teams that have just been promoted have a higher chance of getting relegated. And I feel like Magesi is trying to just break that little curse of trying to stay afloat. And they might not get relegated this season. I mean, that's my thought.
They've got a good coach.
Ne?
You know, Coach Clinton Larson, he's been there.
He's been in the block.
trenches. He
Yeah.
knows how
Yeah.
to survive in PSL. We know what he did with Bloemfontein Celtic when he was a manager there. You know, so I think they stand a very good chance to survive PSL. And I think knocking out Orlando Pirates in Culling knockout, you know,
Those are big
almost getting
kahunas.
away with a win against Kaizer Chiefs. That motivates those youngsters. You know, I think they will survive PSL.
Yolanda Matabane saying Magesi is going for shame like when Barocca won Telkom. Like when Barocca.
When
So
Barocca won
Magesi
Telkom
will
knockout, remember?
emulate when Barocca FC won the Telkom knockout.
Oh.
She reckons they're going places.
Yeah.
Thanks, Yolanda.
Guys, you know, sometimes we never talk about, I mean, obviously we hardly have time, but we don't talk about Motsepe, and it's heating up down there, hey?
Yeah, I saw. Hey,
I saw there's...
Black Leopards is doing big things there.
Yes, and
hey.
that college again is up there.
Orbit College.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
there's I mean, I think the team that is struggling is Cape Town Spurs. You know, and I think what's this guy's name?
Medendorp.
Yeah, he just got a rude awakening that, you know what, down there it's hectic. It's not as luxurious as he thought, you know.
You must go to a team that can pay.
Who though?
Remember he was leaving. And he opted to take that job, and I think he's realizing that, hey, it's tough down there. There's so many things
He
that
took
you're
a
up
job
against.
expecting to survive, right?
Yeah.
He's expecting to
course.
survive, and I think he went in there with the PSL mentality, and it's a complete different ball game down there.
If you go down there, you must learn how to swim.
Mako
the
Berry
Sharks,
saying
not
that
just to swim.
Sundowns are underrated.
Underrated Sundowns.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're basically hinting that they're even better than the best because they're rated as the best, right?
That's it.
You know, guys, I actually had a conversation with an Uber driver the other day. So he was going on about South Africans are lazy, you know, the usual. But he also said something quite profound. He said, it's a good thing that Mamelodi Sundowns right now is not leading on the log, because when they do lead, they don't really have much competition. And that means that if they don't have competition locally, then they struggle playing continentally.
If they don't have competition
Yeah,
locally,
so they're leading and they don't have much competition here, then when they play
This
continentally,
is the argument
they struggle.
for PSG. Because Paris Saint-Germain have less competition in the French league, and
So
then they
Champions
sort of
League.
just coasting. It's not, so the level isn't pushed week in, week out in the same way that La Liga sides are pushed, in the same way that English Premier League sides are pushed,
gaff.
etc.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Champions League, even though they've got a terrific squad, it's almost a rude awakening to be playing at that competitive level. So if Sundowns need to push more in a South African football perspective, but I don't think it needs to be. The problem is Sundowns not top of the league because everyone else is doing so well?
Yeah, facts. That's exactly
Or
what I said
are
last
Sundowns
week.
not top of the league because it's difficult with the change of management and they're not the team that they were?
Not at all. Like, I feel like all the teams just upped their game. Sundowns has been what Sundowns has been.
yeah,
If
and
we're
guys,
being
let's not get
realistic.
carried away. They
Yeah.
only lost one game.
Facts.
Come on, just one game, you know. And also, I mean, going
But
to play,
in saying that,
yeah,
6 points behind as of now.
as of now, but they're playing tomorrow. They'll catch up.
I mean, it's only 2 matches. And Orlando Pirates being the Orlando Pirates to know, well, we don't know, we're crossing fingers, just might a bit.
They will have their banana slip, you know. But that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't get carried away with Mamelodi Sundowns.
When's Chipper?
Yeah, no, it gets very serious.
Okay, let's go into Betway Premiership. Have a look at our upcoming fixtures. Of course, we had Orlando Pirates beat Richards Bay this evening, 1-0 in Orlando Stadium. Tomorrow night, Mamelodi Sundowns versus Polokwane City.
Polokwane, you just saw what Polokwane did. And in fact, remember you spoke about this and you were like, why are they having another match so quickly?
Yeah, but obviously they are preparing for CAF Champions League. You know, that's why Orlando Pirates is playing Richards Bay again. You see, so
it's going to be a fool me once, fool me twice situation.
that's it.
So Polokwane City, guys, like imagine if Polokwane City does it again.
Hey, I like it for our titles for the
Yeah,
videos.
I mean, already
I'll
there's
tell
a
you that.
notion that, you know, these games are like sort of like rigged so that Orlando Pirates can take the lead, which I
So it was a fluke. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting
basically
one.
what the word is out there is like Pirates has got easy fixtures. And I look at all these teams that Pirates has been playing against. Richards Bay, it was a problem for Orlando Pirates last season. Chippa United, you know, it was a problem for Orlando Pirates. So we can't say there's an easy game for Orlando Pirates in the Premiership.
Do you think that Sundowns are better suited to games against a team like Kaizer Chiefs who are going to try go blow to blow versus a side like Polokwane City that are going to sit deep and hit you on the break?
I think they're better suited for a team like Kaizer Chiefs, you know. Sitting deep can be frustrating for an attacking side like Mamelodi Sundowns. And I just wonder what approach is. I mean, there's no guessing what approach Polokwane City is going to bring tomorrow. Just absorb the pressure.
11 men behind the ball or
Yeah,
10 men behind the ball and just one up front to run onto a long ball. And that's it.
Coach Putti's going to be like, one opportunity.
That's it. That's all
You
you
only
need.
got one. You only get one shot against
When it's on
Mamelodi
a corner
Sundowns.
kick, maybe, you know? That's it. I agree. So it could be a tougher game tomorrow. I don't imagine there'd be a hiding. But we're never surprised if Sundowns come out and score a bunch of goals either.
Yeah.
Stellies versus TS Galaxy, also tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m.
Stellies win. TS is still going through it. I mean,
TS
yeah.
TS lost on the weekend.
Yes.
They're in trouble.
They're still going through it, yeah.
They're in trouble. They are in big trouble because they haven't registered a win in the DST in the Betway
At
Premiership.
this stage, how many matches are we in now?
We are, I think, approaching the 7th game. 7th game.
Are we still saying it's too early to say?
It's difficult to recover from this,
It's difficult to
especially
recover
in
from
their
this.
ambitions because of how they finished last season.
Yeah.
They finished well last season.
And we
so
know TS to be like the Rockets. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like,
The
yeah.
first 10 games of the Betway Premiership are very crucial. That's how Mamelodi Sundowns used to run away with it. Because the first 10 games, you'll find Mamelodi Sundowns like having like 30 points, and then your parents are going to be like second there with Liverpool 15. You know what I mean?
what were we talking about? 4 points every 5 fixtures? So 1 point from 5 is not good enough, eh?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So tough. I mean, tough midweek fixture after having played this weekend. Might have done themselves a favor getting kicked out of the cup so that they can focus more on league football. So that's also tomorrow night. And then a long break for Betway Premiership football once again there's an international break coming up.
International break coming. So it's longer because now this weekend other teams are not playing.
Yeah.
For the Carling knockout. And then after that we've got an international break.
So
when we come back, it's
Betway
the final
of the
Carling
knockout
before the Betway Premiership kicks off.
And then this season we've also got Carling Cup.
Oh, the other one.
Which is the winners of the Knockout Cup.
Yes.
And the
Best
All-Star
11.
team, the best 11.
Yeah.
Kune out of retirement for that one again? Just for one game.
Just for the penalties,
Bring him back.
Bring him back. I agree with vote.
So we'll wait to bring you more action from the Betway Premiership coming up. And we've had our say on what we think is going to happen this weekend in the Carling Knockout.
Me personally, I see Magesi going through. I see
Magesi's
Sundowns going through.
I agree with Tip.
Sundowns versus Magesi final.
I think it's a Sundowns Magesi final.
It's a David and Goliath type of situation.
I think it's Sundowns. It's Sundowns Carling. Yeah, it's their year to take Carling knockout.
Yeah, that's why I said they'll be licking their lips at who's left.
Yeah.
How much is the prize money again? 9 million?
Yeah,
how much is
around somewhere? Around 9 million, I think.
9, ne?
Sundowns physio bill for...
What's that for Sundowns, bro?
Can someone from Sundowns just highlight your girl?
Okay, so that's a quick look at our Betway Premiership games. If you are looking to play on the Betway Premiership, remember the 4 to score promotion with Betway. Simply click on the banner to opt in. You need to make a bet that qualifies you for the free entry into the 4 to score promo. And you could win 50,000 Rand simply by predicting which team will score first across 4 fixtures in the Betway Premiership. That's always a good one.
That's a nice one.
Okay. Tepi, darling. Let's jet off to Europe before you fly us around everywhere else. Because we are wrapping up in the Champions League for the first 2 early kickoffs of the Champions League fixtures tonight. How's this? Dynamo Zagreb beating Slovan Bratislava 4-1 in the 90th minute. Now that game's about to wrap up. Lots of goals, Champions League.
Yeah.
But here's the one. Dutch football on the rise. Girona, the team that we all dubbed, wow. City Group, City Sports
Cousins.
Group owned,
etc.
4-0 down in PSV in Eindhoven.
But PSV is okay.
PSV are sort of like
they're
experienced. They're a good side. They're experienced in European competition. Girona, they're newbies. They're still finding their way. It's expected.
Can't they get Savio back on loan or something?
Nope. Hey, it's hectic there. You can't, bro.
That is a good whipping. Looking forward to more of the matches this evening. I actually really enjoy this new Champions League setup, by the way.
I think.
In
the beginning, because I did not understand it.
In the beginning game, friend, yes.
Yeah, in the beginning. It was like, okay, what is happening here? I think sometimes change is as good as a holiday, and I'm enjoying it as well because I understand it, and I think it makes a lot of sense. This thing of playing one team and then you must go again, go back, play them, and then now we must do all different and all of that. I think
you know what I like about it is you've got one chance to get one over on a team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's like a wafa situation, yeah.
In the last round of fixtures, we enjoyed a Real Madrid versus Dortmund game where Dortmund were flying, and Real Madrid turned that game around, right? And I just think to myself, Dortmund would have loved another lick at them, whatever. But at the end of that, you must do it in that fixture. Dortmund about to kick off against SK Sturm Graz. That's their opportunity to get some points, surely.
SK Sturm Graz, which country is that from?
Sure, good question.
Yeah. You guys are playing as well this evening, I believe, at 10 o'clock.
It's a Manchester derby.
Ruben Amorim versus Manchester City. Manchester derby in Lisbon.
Yeah.
FIFA taking things too far.
Yeah,
Don't let them play those games there. Next thing is an El Clasico in Miami, please. Sturm Graz is an Austrian side. Of course,
From
Austrian
Austria.
football, Austrian football not quite at the levels. They lose a lot of their talent to the German Bundesliga,
Of course.
etc.
Everybody wants to
Yeah.
play. It's like Zimbabweans wanting to play for PSL.
Yeah, we just say thank you to them for Red Bull, you know?
What are we saying? Thank you to Zimbabweans.
Many things. Their rich
I'm
cultural
joking, guys.
heritage. I don't know. Yeah, this man off the camera, he can burn.
Did
This
you see how I just went?
This man burns Nigeria and Zimbabwe
I
on the
praise my
weekly.
dog.
Hey, my friends from Zimbabwe are gonna come at me now.
Okay, Dortmund to win that one, surely.
Of
Good side, score goals, able to defend. I mean, it's one thing when you lose all your games to you outplay Real Madrid 2 times in a row and you lose both those games.
Yeah,
It's Real Madrid.
you need to redeem yourself.
Speaking of Red Bull Leipzig versus Celtic. Celtic have been in a rich vein of form. Scottish football has not been good for many years, but all of a sudden, Celtic playing ball.
Yeah, but
I haven't even checked them out.
RB as well. I mean, they are neck to neck with company there, eh?
Oh, yes. Nto, of course.
in the Bundesliga.
Yes, it's
So I
Bundes.
think it's
Yeah.
gonna be a nice fixture to watch.
Yeah, they're a good side. But Celtic, if I go through their last few matches, okay, yes, a lot of it's in the Scottish League. 6-0 against Aberdeen, 2-0 against Dundee, 3-0 against Motherwell. They drew in Atlanta,
Wow.
in Bologna.
And Atlanta is not.
Atlanta's a good side.
good side. I mean,
did they not win the European Championship
Bologna,
against
Italy.
Bayern Leverkusen last
They beat
season? Right,
Napoli
in
now.
the Euros? Yeah, good side.
Yeah.
Atalanta, a 0-0 draw in Bologna. Tough to come by. They also have a draw against Aberdeen, but wins against Ross County. Okay, yes, they got demolished by Dortmund on match day 2. But a 6-0 against St. Johnston, 5-2. They're scoring goals
Wait,
in the
but where do
Scottish
they
League.
stand in their domestic league?
Top of the league.
Oh, okay. But I mean, how competitive is a domestic league when you look at the lock standings?
I mean, they locked level with Aberdeen.
yeah.
But normally, traditionally, Rangers is their direct competitors. And they're 9 points clear of Rangers currently. So Aberdeen, the only team like really pushing Celtic. Look, it's always Celtic or Rangers in the Scottish League. Rangers, obviously, since they were demoted for financial issues, what was the whole story. And then Steven Gerrard went there, did fairly well, went to England, showed he hasn't got the stuff. So he's out in Saudi making some money. But Celtic are playing ball. And yes, they lost Angie Postecoglou to Spurs because he was doing great work with Celtic.
Yeah.
And they're right up there again. And I think that could be a tough game.
Okay.
I think
but
it's my new favorite manager, actually.
Ange,
Ange is my new favorite manager.
he's there for vibes.
He's there for
It's
He's there for vibes.
You know,
He's not there for trophies. He's there for
that's
vibes.
best team, bro. Like one week they're gonna come at you hard, and the second week they just like, you know what?
And they seem to play half a game of football
Yeah.
every match day.
So is there a better version of himself now as opposed to when he was at Tottenham?
No. So we're talking about he went from Celtic to Spurs. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say if he was better at Celtic than he is at Spurs. English
quite
Premier
early.
League's too tough.
It's too tough. I mean,
It's one season and not even a half so far in English football. So he's entertaining. Let's give him that.
yeah,
But
definitely.
probably not pragmatic enough
They're
to
not
compete.
pragmatic. He's there for football.
Yeah,
I think he just tells his boys that just go out there and just enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
Live your best life, yeah.
let's go for vibes, mate.
Yeah, no.
Vibes, you guys.
Mate. Real Madrid versus AC Milan, game of the week, maybe.
Tight. What's happening at Madrid?
What's
Why
happening at
is-
AC
why-
Milan?
Why is the young man getting blamed?
He must run in the field of play.
Why is Neymar
Why is
getting
doing
blamed?
8 kilometers when his counterparts are doing like 12 kilometers?
What's going on?
It was okay when it was Ronaldo, but he got the goals.
Yeah.
were they
And
holding?
Ronaldo was older.
Were they really like putting all their eggs into Neymar's basket?
Mbappe.
Mbappe, sorry.
Yeah. Look, he's a superstar.
Yeah,
Right?
facts.
He's arguably the best player on the planet.
Big money move as well.
Free transfer. Come
Well,
on.
we know.
He was
You know
free.
the wages.
Free that wasn't free.
Yeah, we know.
Cost them like 80 million pounds as a signing bonus or
Yeah.
something crazy. Look, he's a big player. He's a top class player. He's at the best club in the world. Let's not get that wrong. They might not be the best right now, but they're the best club in the world.
I think the gripe there that Carlo has is that he's playing as a centre forward, a position that was more of what's his name, which is forcing now Jude Bellingham to drop deep.
Yeah.
You understand? And now as a result, Jude is not scoring those goals that he was scoring last season, in his debut. And now you've got Kylian Mbappe there, and he's also not delivering.
So the frustration, is it misdirected then?
I think I have one thing to say about this. The level of scrutiny at Real Madrid is ridiculous. The expectation at that club is the highest in the world. The highest in the world. Real Madrid are expected more than anyone else. And I think I watched a highlight reel of Kylian Mbappe in a Real Madrid shirt. Just clips, highlight reel. You'd swear it's the greatest highlight reel you've ever seen. And he's been a failure at Real Madrid. Yeah. The expectations are so high. He needs to adapt. He's played in France his whole career. He's not played in Spanish football. Let's be honest, he's played in a bit of a farmers league his whole career. Yeah. But he's delivered in World Cup finals. He's delivered in the Champions League stage. Yeah. He's a top player.
Is Ancelotti then justified?
And managers. They just say things. They say things we can't know the objective in the things they say. Then maybe he's just trying to motivate you.
And also, I think Carlo is a bit of an old school manager, and I think, I don't know what this is going to do to the boy, but I hope that it does not destroy him. But knowing him from what we've seen, I think he's got his head right,
I think with Rodrigo back in full training as well, I think it'll help them. I think it's that combination: Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., Mbappe, Jude behind them.
Yeah,
it's a good side. It's a good side, so they should be fine. AC Milan have problems of their own. Juventus against Lille, or is it Lyon? Quick look here. Lille.
Is it Lille? So
yes,
the French
Juventus against Lille.
Italians.
Listen, Juventus are playing good football under Thiago Motta.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased. I'm a big Juventus fan. But certainly looking up, Juventus have had a few tough seasons after being the best club in Italy for many, many years. Broke all sorts of records, 6, 7, 8 titles in a row. It was crazy. And then it got more competitive with Inter and AC Milan playing good football. Napoli as well in between.
Yeah, Napoli sort of distracted.
Came in and then went back out. But now they've got Antonio Conte, so they're looking good again. I mean, they won that title and then their manager left at the end of the season, right?
Yes, Spalletti,
Spalletti.
Yeah.
So
Spaghetti. That's what I call him. Yeah.
Looking forward to that game. It should be a good game. Juve playing good football, young players. And that should be an interesting one. Liverpool versus Bayer Leverkusen.
Interesting.
A return home for Xabi Alonso.
It's going to be interesting. He's going to want to prove a point because, I mean, everybody is tipped to take over either at Real Madrid or at Liverpool.
Well, with the way Arne slotted in.
I think he's got a better
Real
chance
Madrid
of
is
the
the job, right?
Yeah, I think he's got better chances there because
Carlos last season. No one stays at Real Madrid that long.
And also, I think he's depleted, man, as a manager and as an old man. I think.
You only have a few eyebrow raises there.
Hasn't he? Hasn't he accomplished
everything but international football.
Yeah.
So maybe
full circle for him.
If Italy had a better squad right now, he'd be tempted to that job.
I think for his age, I think going international will be a better option.
Time to chill also a bit.
Time to chill, But I don't know if Brazil is the right place, but yeah.
But Xabi will be a great option for Real Madrid to pursue in the future.
You understand
he's done great work with the young players in Leverkusen.
Yeah.
If he can do the same level of great work as a Real Madrid legend going back to the club, we saw how that helped Zidane. Just being a legend, the pressure's off a little bit. The fans are more forgiving of you. They'll rather blame some players than you.
True. You can see what's happening in your team as well right now, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Speaking of my team, they're playing against Manchester City tonight. Oh, no, wait, it's just our manager.
Oh, snap.
Ruben Amorim, in his first taste of Manchester City, after being announced as a Manchester United manager, it's a bit of a Manchester derby. We know who all Man United fans are supporting tonight.
Of course.
I saw something about him saying that this match is basically going to be an indicator of just how people are going to treat him in future when he goes to where he's going to go.
Yeah, and he refused to say it in English. He's like, guys, wait. I need to keep speaking Portuguese for a while. What I found very interesting about this fixture, and I need to bring my Betway app on this one. if you were to just say you weren't really watching Portuguese league,
Like myself.
yes, Man City lost on the weekend, right?
Yeah.
What would you say the odds are on this fixture? Yes, Sporting are at home, right? But what would you say the odds are on this fixture? It's Manchester City against Sporting.
I think I'll say just over 2 for Manchester to win.
Yeah.
And maybe around 8 for Sporting to win.
It's 1.95 for City to win. A win for Sporting Lisbon is better odds than a draw at 3.55.
It's interesting, and it's also quite vast.
Even the bookmakers are saying that Sporting's got a good chance. But look at this.
Interesting.
Sporting in the Portuguese league, and let's be honest, as much as I call the French league a farmers league, the Portuguese league, to me, is not a farmers league. There's good sides there. There's some very good football there in the Portuguese league. Sporting have played 10 games in the Portuguese league this season, 10 wins.
He's doing great things,
record,
that man.
okay.
10 wins. So that's absolutely perfect. First 10 games in the Portuguese league. How's this? Goals for 35. That's 3.5 goals per game.
And you know what that
and
tells you?
And they conceded 3.
You know what that tells you? That every department in that team works. Defensively, they are good. Their midfield is good. Attack is like brilliant. You know, the more you score goals and you don't... I mean, when you score more goals, which means you're opening yourself up, and then which means you are able to even defend.
Fact.
Absolutely.
So it's a well-oiled machine, basically.
Absolutely. I just want to get back into the...
When it comes to the red side of... Anyway.
I just want to go into the comments. Steez the Baller saying AC Milan not performing at the moment. I agree. Insane to see that Rafael Leao not starting games in Milan. That's insane for me. He's such a top-class player. So dangerous. Liverpool for the win tonight, says Londwa. I won't argue with that. At Anfield, Champions League night.
What do you call it? A fortress.
It's a fortress.
A fortress.
I mean, they weren't looking good for a win this weekend. All of a sudden,
they turn it around.
Salah his way into that game.
Delicious salad, that's why.
Hey, he's doing the things. And Mbappe needs to not be onside. Londwa.
He needs to come here to stay onside.
Sammy Bupap is saying, of course, you're going to say that, Marco. You're very patriotic. Just wish was here to take you on about that. Sammy, take me on.
Send a voice note, my friend.
Like I said, I'm biased. You know that. The Portuguese, if the French league is a farmers league, I must be honest, Portuguese league is also a farmers league. If I'm going to call the French league a farmers league, the Portuguese league, let's be honest. Right?
Okay.
So, yes, of course, I'm being biased. A little bit of a joke, but if I'm being realistic and honest,
and
the
if
Portuguese
that's the case, that means
is
Super Sub is also going to be biased because I get he's Portuguese as well when he feels like it.
Only with international football.
Carlos.
Yes, Carlos.
During internationals.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Just a quick run through the rest of the fixtures because those were the ones that stood out most for me. Let me just see if there's one that I'm missing here that's going to be exciting at these 10 p.m. kickoffs. The other fixtures are Bologna versus Monaco, Shakhtar Donetsk versus Young Boys Club, Bruges versus Aston Villa. Of course, Villa, they're topping the Champions League table, by the way, ahead of Liverpool on goals scored alone, I think.
I saw.
It's an English full sweep there so far. It's Aston Villa, Liverpool, and City topping the Champions League table. And Feyenoord versus Salzburg.
Where's Arsenal? Didn't they beat Schalke, I think, last week?
Arsenal, I'll see where they are. But they play tomorrow night, which is very exciting for us for different reasons. They're sitting ninth, which means they qualify for a knockout round if they stay there. They're just behind City's opponents for the evening, Sporting, on 7 points, which is the same number of points Man City have anyway. So too early to call in the Champions League log, but we might see it forming a little bit better after this round of fixtures as well. So, that's... I just want to make sure I haven't missed a big Champions League game to discuss quickly. Bayern Munich versus Benfica, that is actually a big game. PSG versus Atletico Madrid, also a big game. Of course, this is the Champions League. Barcelona are going to go out and hammer this Cervena Zvezda. The
They're flying
Serbian.
high right now.
Sorry, guys, my Serbian isn't very good, and never will be. I'll be completely honest. I'm not about to learn some Serbian. Sparta Praga, Brest, Inter versus Arsenal tomorrow, and VfB Stuttgart versus Atalanta tomorrow night as well. So, Champions League football to look forward to. I know some of the ballers are going to log off for some of those ones, so give us your thoughts before you go. Right. That's a quick wrap of European football. Semi Bulpape is saying his beloved Arsenal will go through to the next round.
You and Lynn, I'm sure.
And then Steez the Baller wants us to talk about Mourinho blasting the Turkish league.
But it's Mourinho.
His
He shoots from the
fun.
hip.
He just blasts referees in general.
That's Mourinho.
What did he say?
Is he not talking about him saying that had he known that the officiating would be that bad, he wouldn't have joined the Turkish league? I think he's talking about that, eh?
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on.
Say something on the mic?
Oh, no.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Thanks to our technical team here for making sure you hear
Black
us all
Studios.
loud and clear. Okay, Tepi, darling, are we ready to get on your jet and jet around the world?
Do you have your tickets?
We got some tickets here.
Sanjay.
We bought it from that guy who was selling those Chiefs tickets outside the stadium last week.
Then you're not allowed to be on this flight.
Take you worldwide, my friend.
Yeah,
This is Around the World with Tepi Worldwide, brought to you by Betway and the Aviator game. Log on to the Aviator game and be sure to cash out before the plane flies away, and you could be one of those lucky winners who doubles, triples, quadruples, multiplies their money in huge amounts. Betway, get way more.
Okay, let's start off on the continent. I will say, where are the headquarters of CAF again?
They're not in Morocco.
Morocco?
I think they're in Morocco.
Okay, so let's just go to Morocco. I'm going to say this in a classic African type of way. Patrice Motsepe has announced that he will run again for a second term as the Confederation of African Football president, which will be taking place in March of 2025. As it stands, it seems as though he is one of the favorites, if not the only one really, because the story is that he has about 40 of the African nations out of we have 52 in total. I think there's only 2 that do not take part, but long story short is that they are kind of endorsing him and they want him to stay in the leadership position. It says here, I just want to quote this, over 40 countries have expressed their support for his re-election, citing the positive impact of his leadership on African football. Motsepe's initiatives, such as increasing financial subventions, obviously, and organizational success when it comes to tournaments like the AFCON, have been key factors in this widespread support. This was a kind of a no-brainer, yes, no?
Yeah, fully agree.
It's a no-brainer.
You only need the last AFCON as evidence to
We don't have to
back
look
them.
far.
You don't have to look far. It's the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And he comes across as an objective individual. He's not influenced by money. There's no envelopes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we don't know, but we don't know. But look, I mean, Kev have made some good profits out under his leadership. It's a no-brainer. I think the FAs are going to endorse him. I think he's going to get his second term.
It's about time the African continent kind of has something to show for the football, right? We keep on exporting, but we're still in shambles.
Yeah, and those headquarters are in Egypt, not Morocco.
In Egypt. There we go. Okay, so another story, Atletico Madrid's victory. I just want to go about this very, very quickly, guys. I'm going to read this. Atletico Madrid secured a 2-0 win over Las Palmas in La Liga, moving up to 3rd place in the standings. Giovanni Simeone, son of coach Diego Simeone, scored his first goal for the club, marking a significant milestone in his career. So we're just talking about what happened at Atletico Madrid. Thoughts on that one? Did you guys check out this match?
I just thought very nice. Nice story.
It's a nice story.
To follow in Dad's footsteps,
Because you look at, I think Zidane tried with his son and it didn't actually work out. But Marco would be in a more better position to tell us about how it feels to play for your dad.
Tell us.
My dad wasn't a coach. My dad was just the sponsor.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the team.
Oh, you are not big in Andy.
It's a Royal AM scenario. It's not Atletico Madrid. It's not an Atletico Madrid scenario.
Oh, okay, cool.
Guys, actually, now this is not part of the script, but I read an article earlier. Unfortunately, one player, I believe, was in Peru who got who was struck by lightning and passed on.
Sure.
I think, his name is Jose Hugo de la Cruz Meza. He was 39, a defender for the Choco family team. Players and referees were working on the field, and the weather worsened, and unfortunately, lightning struck him.
Shame, man.
Shame, man.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry,
What a way to go.
Well, this is why when the weather comes in, a lot of referees will choose to bring the players inside.
No,
It's
definitely.
a very dangerous scenario. We've seen it in England happen as well.
We've seen it here in South Africa as
seen it in
well. I
South
think
Africa
Morocco
as well.
Swallows at some point. We had that incident, and I think from that, I mean, when the weather starts to change, the referees don't hesitate; they immediately stops the game. And
I think that also happened earlier on in the year. I think Sundowns was playing in Pretoria, and the match had to be postponed. I could be incorrect, but Bolas, let me know. Finally, another story that I found interesting. Okay, so I have a thing, ne? Neymar had an ANA.
Hey.
So it says the Brazilian star suffered another injury during his second appearance for Al Hilal since returning from an ACL injury. He limped off in the first 30 minutes into the match, raising concerns about his fitness and future performances. Hey, man.
Neymar is the saddest story in football. The man should have had a Ballon d'Or. He should have had it.
Do you think we were robbed of a good footballer by his management? Because I feel like they
think it's
they
also
went
a bit
into football
by himself.
chasing money more than what the primary role is for a footballer.
But I think he also did a lot of it to himself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even now with the ACL injury, put on too much weight. They should have watched his diet closer. He should have been more responsible with his diet.
So you fat
I
shaming
think that
him?
No, not at all.
French.
But I mean, you're an athlete, and there's certain things that you need to do if you want to play an elite level of football. But I guess we shouldn't be questioning his determination to continue playing a elite level of football when he's already gone to Saudi League. Let's be honest.
I mean, the news came out, but I read an article on my way to studio. He was kind of downplaying that injury, saying that yes, he limped off, but it was a bit of a nothing too serious. I guess he's just trying to make sure that everyone doesn't rattle and throw out their toys.
Yeah, it's a sad story, like Marco said. You know, I think that guy is talented, man, and I think it was the biggest thing after Messi and Ronaldo, and we thought he was going to reach those heights.
He was the only player in recent history of Ballon d'Or to make a top 10 while not playing for a European club when he was still at Santos. I think he was the 9th player in the world at that time before he moved to Barcelona.
Crazy.
Every club in Europe wanted him, from Chelsea to Man United to Barcelona to Real Madrid. Everyone wanted him, and he went to Barcelona. Top class talent. Sad to see King saying he shouldn't have left Barca. Sure, if Messi, Suarez and Neymar stayed at Barcelona, I think it would have helped them through their difficult times. Sammy Bulpape saying Lol Marco's dad owned the soccer kits and the soccer balls. Guys, also, I'm joking. My dad actually never sponsored my team. He once sponsored my brother's team, but my dad never sponsored my team. So please, have some respect for my name. And then Bongani Chabalala saying, how big of an envelope would you need for Motsepe?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I told you guys, I've got a theory. Today is not the day.
No,
but
Manfred, come on.
Bake, man, bake.
Don't worry. That theory is coming, and then you will understand what is happening.
Okay, we'll leave it for another day.
Is it giving Sepp Blatter?
Nah, not even. Not even.
Yeah, and D-Dub saying these awards are not enough for this legend. I agree. I think that he was the most outrageous talent that we've seen, or one of. I think that he was unlucky to be in his prime in the same time that Messi and Ronaldo were just flying, in a way.
I suppose.
All right, and that's all we have for you worldwide.
That was Around the World with Tepe Worldwide, brought to you by Betway. Get way more. Sammy Bopape, I accept your apology wholeheartedly. Thank you very much. Let's jet off to our other home, the Premier League. Let's look at the results. Len Moleko's not here.
Because I want to have a talk with him.
I want to speak to him because
I'm picking up a pattern here.
he's either very bad or he's very good.
No, my thing is, remember, okay, sorry, Marco. So, you know, this nonchalant, I'm not even watching, I don't care type of setup. He does it, right? He kind of preempts us just so that if he was to be faced with questions, then he's going to be like, oh yeah, but I mean, I was not even excited. I was not even watching like that. Like, I knew it might not happen.
He was not here to answer for his team when they lost against Bournemouth.
But he would defend himself here and say, I said we'll lose to Newcastle. I said.
He does that, yeah.
But he did, to be fair to him, he did say that they'll lose to Newcastle. So I want to ask you guys, the way that you're talking about this pattern of him not being here.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you saying that Len Moleko is not currently flying around the country to get backers to buy out Royal AM and change them to Bloemfontein Celtic?
How convenient.
Are you accusing him of that, or are you saying that he's absent because Arsenal lost?
I mean, two things can be correct at the same time.
Of course.
Okay, who's going to rant today? We need a substitute for the ranting.
I'm not ranting, but are we not a bit concerned about the most recent performance or lack thereof of Arsenal? Them being in 5th position, Forest somehow being in 3rd.
Not somehow.
Are we saying? What do we make of this?
They're out of the woods, the Chris Woods. Nottingham Forest are scoring goals.
I see what you did.
And they're a good side. And who was accusing me of Portuguese managers?
It was Len Moleko.
It was Len Moleko.
Yeah.
Nuno Espirito Santo.
And we mentioned Nuno last week.
He's not doing a bad job at Nottingham Forest, who were nearly relegated.
Exactly.
They're sitting in 3rd. They're also behind Chelsea on goal difference alone.
Another thing that Len needs to be...
Let's be honest. Cole Palmer, he didn't show up.
He's got those moments.
It was a tough game. He didn't show up. If he really showed up at Old Trafford, Chelsea win that game. Man United weren't flying. Although, in saying that, if you look at opportunities alone, Man United win that game. I think Chelsea were the better side. They're playing good football under Enzo Maresca. Man United found it difficult to play out of the Chelsea press. But if you play a high line against Manchester United, it's sort of like playing against the small team. We were talking about this with Polokwane City and what they're going to do against Man City. Man United need to stop playing like that, first of all. They need to be Man United again, and they need to be the dominant team.
Tell me what the difference or slight differences you saw between obviously the exit of Ten Hag and the introduction of your boy.
It depends. Look, at the end of the day, Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken charge of 2 games. Man United looked a bit more solid against Chelsea. I think that the only thing is the players are playing with a little more freedom. I think the game is less complicated under Ruud van Nistelrooy, and under Ten Hag it was overcomplicated, and I don't think players knew what their role was. There was a lot of confusion on the pitch. So I think he's keeping it simpler, which I think is working for the players that he's got here. Keep it simple. But
is it sustainable though?
At the end of the day, he's interim for 4 games. He's got 2 games left as a manager, and then Ruben Amorim has to come in and start to put his formula into that team. But Man United had better chances and they didn't finish. Against West Ham, the game that got Ten Hag sacked. Well, Man United had all the chances. He did suck. But Man United should have been 4-0 up in the first 15 minutes against West Ham. It was wasteful in the finishing. And once again, Man United wasteful in their finishing against Chelsea. They should have won that game. If you look at, like I said, opportunities alone, I'm not claiming that Man United were better than Chelsea. Chelsea were the better football side. But Man United limited their opportunities. They didn't have a lot of opportunities. And Man United had good opportunities to go on and win that game.
Objectively, and I'm not saying that you're being subjective, objectively, Super Sub, seeing the Van Nistelrooy.
Rude.
Yeah. So when our thoughts on what it looks like now, until obviously further notice?
Look, I think it's just a clear indication that there were problems within between the managers, the manager and the players.
It's evident, no?
It's evident, and
They bumped him out.
they were not playing for him, and you could see when the first game when he left. I mean, they won how many? It was 4. You could just tell that there was a different. It was a different Man United, and I don't think Ruud is the guy to take that team forward. Like, I think United made a good decision to get
Ruben Amorim.
Immediately, and because I think they said it's now or never, I think it gives him this remainder of the season time to adjust to English football and get to know everything that is about Old Trafford. And I think he might just do well.
When do fans start to judge Ruben Amorim?
Next season. Right now,
after the summer window, see who he can bring in, and then look at the type of football they play.
Right now, they just need to look at the type of football. Just for now, it's just like
observe.
Just let him do what he needs to do. Get used to the team,
Get
them in a respectable position, and that's it.
Ten Hag was given time. Let's be honest.
Plenty of time. I think those titles sort of like saved him. But it was not enough at the end of the day.
No, they were playing really terrible football last season, and this season it wasn't any better.
No, it wasn't, and it was not getting any better.
Tell me the logic of, or what did you think it was a good decision for management? Remember that Ruben was actually meant to join them in the new season, but that was obviously a spanner was put in the works. Does it make sense for him to start now, or like thoughts on that?
Well, he wanted to finish the season at Sporting, but at the end of the day, this opportunity wasn't necessarily going to come again.
Yeah, it's way bigger.
I think that Liverpool came for him. He turned Liverpool down. Man City have said when Pep goes, we want you, and he's already made his decision for Manchester United. I don't know if Portuguese people love Manchester United because of Cristiano Ronaldo or something along those lines, but
highly probable.
It's a big job.
Yeah, it's a big job, and there was no way it was going to turn down Man United. It's sad to see. I mean, I think for a manager like him, it's sad to leave Sporting, seeing what he has done and where they are and how they're playing. And obviously he knows what a challenge he's getting himself into there at United.
Yes, and in fact, remember I had his name part of the list, and I was even saying that where he is right now, he's actually very nice and comfy.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, United, it's a dream job for him, and if he can turn things around, he's gonna be the legend of the game.
Yeah, we thought, I was still saying that he'd maybe be an option in the summer.
Yep.
Like, if you're not going to fire Ten Hag in the summer, then you might as well just fire him next summer. So give him the rest of the season so that we can get a good manager. But they managed to convince Ruben Amorim to come now.
Yeah, 10 million that they have to pay, I think.
So far, not so good, as Phil Foden has scored for Manchester City. So City leading in Lisbon.
Yeah, I saw that. You guys, I remember a super sub that on the weekend, you guys were arguing somewhere there on the WhatsApp group, and you were like, no, let's talk on Tuesday. What was it about again?
The culprits are not here.
Yes. What was it about again?
Hey, Shots was giving Len trouble for Arsenal losing to Newcastle.
Oh, yes.
And then I just said, hey, don't be loud. You're playing tomorrow. That's all I said.
No, I think he's talking about Len and Mac.
What? Yes, there's also that, because the Shots in the situation was like diffused. But Mac and Len were, it's fine.
It was about the new manager at Manchester United, Len saying that is not what people think he's going to be.
I'm happy when Len says he's not going to be. Because
the opposite
normally goes against Len. So we're winning the Premier League next season. If Len says he's going to be out by Christmas or whatever. Okay, so across the rest of the Premier League, standout results all over the place. First of all, Brighton were the better side at Anfield for vast majority of the game.
In the fortress.
And then 2 goals in 2 minutes for Liverpool turned that game around, a 2-1 win. It looked like all of the top 3 were going to lose. Arsenal lost earlier in the day on Saturday. City were losing the entire time to Bournemouth at the same time as the Anfield game. And then Liverpool turned it around, and it looks like a very good weekend for Liverpool. I don't want to talk too much about Nottingham Forest's result against West Ham, because we know how poor West Ham have been.
Yeah, no, of course.
I mean, West Ham for me are really one of the bottom sides in the Premier League in terms of performances.
And that's why they were the straw that broke the camel's back when they lost.
Man United should have, let's be honest,
yeah.
United should have walloped them. They should, like I said, they should have been 4-0 up in the first 15 minutes. They got away with one because Man United didn't want to finish, you know? So let's talk about Aston Villa against Spurs.
Oh, what a game.
Villa were
Villa
flying.
scored first.
They were
Villa
flying in the
Villarreal.
first half. Spurs looked all over the place. They looked like there was nothing going to happen for them. And then Angie ball kicks in, and you're all of a sudden
When
scoring
this
goals.
ball kicks in, bruh, you're gonna get those goals. And the way they were playing, they were enterprising. I won't lie. I think they had a very, very, very good game. And against a Villa side that we know it's been flying high, you know, I think Spurs were very, very exciting to watch.
Well, the best goalkeeper in the world conceded 4 in one half of football.
Yeah.
So I spoke about Dominic Solanke being a terrific signing for Spurs and saying exactly what they
The
needed.
difference is making.
We needed time. He needed time. He had one injury that he missed a few games. Look at that difference. He turned this game around with his 2 goals. Brendan Johnson's also been fantastic on the score sheet. And then James Maddison wrapping it up as Villa were pushing to come back into the game. But this Angie ball makes Spurs a dangerous side. They wallop Man United.
Yeah, they are dangerous. When that ball, when it kicks in,
When it kicks in,
it's unstoppable.
yeah. So,
So are we? No, it's no. Okay.
I mean, they're not high flying
Yeah,
in the league.
exactly.
No,
And
they're
that's why I'm
not.
like, no.
And like I said, Angie's not going to
It's-
go
it's
win the
the-
title with the
The
way
blow
he
hot
plays
and
football.
cold.
But he will be
they're
very
just exciting
exciting.
to watch.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they just out there and play football.
But he's here for vibes, mate. He's here for vibes, and boy, did we get vibes on Sunday. Fulham leaving it late against Brentford. Brentford have been scoring early goals in the league.
What a terrific game as well. That youngster, Harry Wilson.
Harry Wilson scoring in the 92nd minute and the 97th minute to turn that game around.
It's crazy.
That's what we call resilience.
And another
determination.
Portuguese manager
Marco.
sitting pretty in the league table in
He's a
ninth
silver Marco.
for Fulham. Super Marco. Better Marco than me at managing a football side, I'll tell you that. Another great game in Monday Night Football. So Spurs turning it around, Fulham turning it around. Some great football across the Premier League, and there are no weak sides in this league.
And quite
Yeah, I know.
unpredictable. And that's the one thing I enjoy the most.
We saw
Yeah.
what the Cherries did. They are no weaker side in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Arsenal for a minute against Newcastle. Edu leaving his position. He's been probably my pick. I mean, him and Arteta
Like this.
have been celebrated for the quality that Arsenal have shown. The difference between Arsenal before Edu and Arteta to who Arsenal are today.
He was
Edu
quite
going, is that a
instrumental.
surprise?
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. You know,
Because there's still building to do in that side.
they haven't really reached the level that they wanted to.
I mean, Edu still needs to be there for a number 9 to come in.
Yes, but I
Exactly.
also read somewhere that he wants a more powerful role.
Yeah, what's more powerful than sporting director at Arsenal? You have to be a manager of a football club.
And also, is he already at Forest? Because the story is that he's jumping ship to Forest.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's troubles.
Yes.
Because leaving Arsenal for Forest, I mean, it's just.
And it's not like he's taking the manager's role at Forest. That would be one thing.
Definitely.
Okay, I'll just double check, but yeah, continue, guys.
But Mikel Arteta asked about Alexander Isak after the game for obvious reasons.
Isak is a talent,
is a
man.
number 9.
He's a number 9. We were talking about him. We said Arsenal needed a number 9. They didn't get one. We said Edu's smart about it. You know, they couldn't get Ivan Toney, who
Toney,
went
yeah.
to Saudi League just because the cost was too high. And we thought that I'm sure he would have loved to bring him in, but the deal didn't make sense and he went against it. And we said that's a good thing. That's very good sporting directorship because he didn't disrupt the fee structure of the whole club and ruin the whole club in a way that desperate teams like Chelsea and Manchester United have been doing. So
Oh, an hour ago. Okay. So
Yeah.
the latest now is that he rejected the lucrative, one reason rejected, yes, lucrative offer revealed with Forest. So he has, he's rejected it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That Greek owner throws around
It was
money
a
at
pay
Forest.
rise. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's. I wonder what the impact that is gonna have him leaving. Because obviously they were building and they made all those changes, and Arsenal looks so close to winning that league. And I think in my opinion, I think this was the best chance for Arsenal to actually win it, because I can tell you now, I don't think Manchester City are gonna win the league. I mean, all those players just look depleted unless Pep performs some magic. It's giving me the same vibe that it gave me when Liverpool won it. And I think this was the chance for Arsenal to actually pounce when City is down, because you don't get so many chances.
When a man is down, you kick him.
And it looks like it's advantage Liverpool. But hey, we'll see. It's still a long way to go. But I just think
let's talk
Arsenal
again after Christmas,
cannot afford
right?
to be 7 points adrift from the top.
Let's talk again in January when we see what the Christmas period has done to teams.
Yeah.
Because
we know Arsenal. Ne?
the only thing I will say for Liverpool is they're going.
Does in Jan, ne?
Liverpool are playing good football, and what's undone them in the past, as great as Jurgen Klopp was, I thought that rock and roll football was too much for the squad.
Yeah.
And that they play too intense too much of the time, but now they're just looking good, and it's yet to be seen if they're going to suffer the same things under Arne Slot.
I think I'm changing I'm changing. I think
lies.
I think Liverpool is.
You lie like a rug.
I'm telling you.
It's too early to say, but I have to agree.
Just a prediction.
It's the way things are sitting now. Liverpool certainly go all the way. Forest versus West Ham, like we said, don't want to dig too deep into that one because West Ham have just been poor. Southampton getting their first win of the season against Everton at home. A 1-0 win.
Yeah,
Southampton, they've been playing attractive football, but they're
struggling.
Not winning. And a win against Everton. And what is this, the first time Everton have lost when they've conceded in the season?
Oh, yes, because we were having that conversation.
Like every time they concede,
first and then
they just go all the way.
Yeah, they'll come back. Yeah.
At some point,
the
it's
problem
bound to
is
catch
that
up with you.
That goal came too late. 85th minute, they didn't have time to turn it around, right? So,
more minutes.
Yeah. If you're going to concede as Everton, you have to concede early so you can turn the game around. And then a 4-goal thriller at the Molineux, and it was one scores, the other applies. One scores, the other applies. Crystal Palace opening the scoring. 7 minutes later, Wolves equalize. Then 5 minutes later, Wolves go ahead. And then 5 minutes later, Crystal Palace equalize. Wolves can't buy a win at the moment. Crystal Palace also have been struggling, but we thought that Palace had turned a corner after they won last week. So those teams at the bottom...
They ruined my Betway sleep, eh?
Is that game?
Yeah, it's that game, yeah.
And then Ipswich still without a win, but 5 points on the board from their 10 games. 5 draws, 5 losses. Ipswich, this league's a bit too much for them at the moment.
It's a bit too much for them, and
they've come from League One 2 seasons ago.
You want
League One, Championship, Premier League. It's a lot of jumping. This is a tough league.
It's a tough league, and I don't think they're reinforced enough. And you wanna be, if you're in that situation, you wanna at least be a 1 win away from getting out of that zone. Because right now they are sitting at number 19th, and they're like 5 points from safety. It's
and
crazy.
It's quite advanced.
That's basically
right
2
now.
games.
Yeah.
They're 2 points from safety. They're 2 points behind Crystal Palace. They're in 18th. But Southampton and Wolves not too far behind them either. So Ipswich, their next fixture in the league is this Sunday against Spurs at the London Stadium there.
Spurs. They're not going to do anything
not
there.
At all.
Nah, they're going to get whipped. And then their next game is Manchester United and then Forest.
That will be
that's the
Ruth's
nail
last
on the
game,
coffin.
He's going to bar out with them.
Yes. Is not his last fixture against Leicester? Might be that one against Ipswich. I think it's Leicester then Ipswich, you're right. So
guys, I mean, we were talking about how talented and how good, yes, probably inexperienced McKenna is. So what do we say about him and his management of Ipswich right now? And Lucky in what? What do we say?
Hey, you're Ipswich manager.
Hey.
Yeah.
You're Ipswich manager in the Premier League. They've just been in League One.
And look at it this way. It's just like Vincent Kompany at Burnley. It was not tough only because he's not a good manager. It was just tough because you are Burnley, you don't have the resources and all of that. And same with Ipswich, you know, you're just coming from down there, and then you're in a new league. There's not much resources. It's very difficult for a manager. And if you look at what Vincent Kompany is doing on the other side right now, it just goes to show you with managers, with resources, what some managers can do.
Would it be wise if you were a McKenna and you get offered a position in a more prominent, formidable team? When it comes to loyalty, knowing where you come from with Ipswich, would you still jump ship or just hang in there?
He's only been there 2 years.
If you want loyalty, you get a dog.
He's been there 2 years. It'll be 2.5 years later in this season.
Yeah.
He came from the academy at Manchester United, managing the academy side at Manchester United. If he gets another position, surely he has to take it at a bigger club. Especially, stick the season out with Ipswich. But if you get relegated and a Premier League side says, hey, listen, come take over for us, take over.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. The one thing I want to mention about the fixture between Ipswich and Leicester, Ipswich led a lot of that game.
And that's been their problem.
My problem with this is Calvin Phillips gets a red card. Calvin Phillips has not been... this is his second loan move, right?
Yeah, because it didn't work out at West Ham. Wasn't it West Ham?
Yeah, it didn't work out at West Ham last season. It didn't work out at City. He's not the player who was at Leeds.
No.
Let's be honest.
He's not.
And now...
I think Pep...
wants him to go.
He wanted him to go, and we can see why.
We can see why. Looking forward to this weekend's fixtures. Ipswich playing on Sunday against Spurs. At least Calvin Phillips can't play in that game. Can they cause an upset? They're going to get hammered.
They're not going to be switched on, no.
Ange's ball? Nah.
That press, that high line, if they sit and absorb the pressure, try hit them on the break.
Still.
Anything can happen in the Premier League, but I'm reaching. Am I not? I'm reaching.
There's just so many players at Spurs that are really like firing right now. Richarlison,
Brennan
Johnson,
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't think they're going to be able to handle Spurs.
Yeah, I agree. Saturday's fixtures. Brentford hosting Bournemouth. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because Bournemouth are flying high.
Yes.
Hey, they beat
Bournemouth
City at home.
Yeah.
If we just have a quick look at Bournemouth's form in the league, the one thing that I do pick out from that, they beat Arsenal at home, they beat City at home, but they beat Southampton at home. But they drew away at Villa. Okay, away at Villa, a draw is a good result.
Yeah. Yes.
But they lost away at Leicester as well. Bournemouth away, I have to fancy Brentford as the home side. Bournemouth don't play the same away from home. We know how hard they were since they've been in the Premier League.
I think they're also quite motivated when they know they're playing top 5 teams.
Yeah, it's just Bournemouth have been so good at home in general, right? And we can look at how much of a great job the current Newcastle boss did when he was over there, and he was tipped for the management job of the England side. Since they came up to the Premier League, their home has been a fortress. So away from home, I'm going to maybe go at a Brentford home win.
I say Bournemouth. Yes, granted, because they do generally do well at home, but I say Bournemouth still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Bournemouth. I know Brentford would want to redeem themselves after that terrible loss at Fulham, but I see Brentford winning this one.
Seems like these teams at home, they just bring it at home.
Yeah, no.
Away fixtures. And this weekend taught us a little bit of that. There wasn't a single away win in the league this weekend.
It's crazy.
No away wins. Every single home team, either a draw or a win for the home side.
Wow.
So I'm going to use that in my betting slip this weekend. I'm going to go with a Brentford win.
Because sometimes it gets a bit diluted, but this past weekend kind of showed us that a home and away still counts, right?
I'm going to contradict myself here. Crystal Palace at home to Fulham. It's too early. Like I said, those floodlights at Selhurst Park.
I don't know, it could be a draw.
Whenever it's nighttime at Selhurst Park, I'm scared. But during the day,
easy peasy.
When the sunlight's there, Fulham to win.
Yeah, Fulham to win.
Fulham a good side. Crystal Palace still struggling, not getting any sort of consistency. Fulham on a high. I think Fulham to win away.
I say
And
draw.
finally, Adam Traore, guys, got an assist, man.
Yeah.
He's always getting bashed in this show.
Come ballers, keep commenting about Adama Traore. Okay, next fixture. West Ham at home to Everton.
West Ham, Everton.
But we know what must happen.
No. You know
What, West Ham must score
Yes.
early and then Everton going to come and
Yes.
turn it around.
Yes,
West Ham,
of
they need to
course.
call back Moyes.
Yeah, West Ham, I don't know. Lopetegui, he's the next one on the list.
Yeah,
I know
he's
that the first scalp for managers in the Premier League this season, and it's early for a scalp, 8 games in, 9 games in, was Eric Ten Hag, but you can't be sitting in 13th, 14th with Manchester United. That's not good enough. Yeah, I fancy an Everton win, another away win. Lopetegui's time's up.
No, it's
West Ham can't defend. They make it too easy for sides to score.
They're worse than when Moyes was there.
Way worse. Way worse.
I mean, first season, I think, was it first or second season that
Listen.
got them to Europe?
And then he won that European Conference League.
Yes.
And is this the same West Ham side that went and won a European competition? Nope. So West Ham, the next club to be looking for a manager, and it might be sooner than we think because they've just lost 3-0 to Forest.
And then McKenna might have a job.
McKenna's not getting fired from Ipswich, though. That's the
I
thing.
think it's going to be one of those situations where they get relegated with him if it gets to
And
that.
then he starts to look.
Listen, if Lopetegui's still manager of West Ham by Christmas, I'll be surprised.
Okay.
And there's
I'll
no
be
price
surprised.
in betting on that.
Yeah.
He's
'Cause,
gonna be gone.
easy money. He's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Wolves against Southampton. Can one of these sides Southampton got their first win last weekend. Can one of these sides give themselves a little bit of breathing room from the bottom?
To be honest with you, like...
Hey, when you're playing guys there in the trenches with you,
Yeah.
hey, you have to win. Eh? I hope it's not a draw.
Yeah,
Just
you
might
have to
be,
win.
that's the
But
thing.
this one has draw written all over it,
That's what
doesn't
I'm
it?
saying.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think it's going to be a draw, actually.
Wolves
but
at
I'm
home.
hoping-
They just drew to Crystal Palace at the weekend at home. I think this one has draw written all over it. Take it, easy money.
Yeah.
Man City, after a difficult run, okay, yes, their Champions League exploits are looking a little bit better this evening as they still lead in Lisbon
28th
against
minute,
a
yeah.
very good side. City tend to turn a corner, but it's a difficult time to turn a corner when you have to travel to the Amex and Brighton. Those Seagulls,
Yeah.
they roar.
I'm telling you now, Marco, City is a different team than it was last year.
Yes.
Phil Foden is a shadow of a player that he was last season. You look at players like Gundogan is not the player that he was at
And the excitement
Barcelona.
you guys had.
And we know Haaland's record against better opposition. You know, Haaland scores a lot of goals when it's against the weaker side.
And I don't know what's happening there at the back. There's just a lot of shuffling. Ake paired with.
But we know what's going on. Last season, even Man City, when Rodri wasn't there, they weren't as good. They miss Rodri.
Yeah,
and you
no,
guys
definitely.
can't afford to have a consecutive loss, eh?
Would you call it a draw at the Amex? Both teams walk away happy with a point?
I think it's gonna be a draw.
I still see a City win. Shem.
Sure, it's a tough game to call.
It's a tough one.
But I just have this feeling of a draw. And you might make some money on a draw in that
I'm
game.
telling you, it's draw or Brighton win.
Draw or Brighton.
Yeah.
I won't go for that one. I will go for straight draw, better odds.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
Liverpool at home to Aston Villa.
That's going to be
The best
a
goalkeeper
shocker
in the
block.
world. Can he stop Salah?
That's a draw.
Okay.
After that 4-1 thumping.
Floodlights, 10 p.m. in Liverpool, in Anfield.
Yeah, the fortress. But why do I see
And
a
those
Villa
fans
win?
were bouncing this weekend for them. They pushed that team over the
Wasn't
line.
it Liverpool? It was Arsenal that was dealt with proper by Aston Villa for the entire.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
were there.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's gonna be a draw.
I see a
Okay.
Villa win. I'm going to just go against the grain.
that's a tough one to
I
call.
know.
Liverpool are playing football. Surely Aston Villa, the squad is too small. They're playing tomorrow night in the Champions League. I think Liverpool win this one. Tight game, but Liverpool win this one.
Okay.
Man United against Leicester.
Man United finally.
At home, Old Trafford, United to thump Leicester.
Not to
2.5
thump.
over.
Not to thump. Marco.
Not
Maybe
yet.
1-0, 2-0.
They just thumped them in the Carling Cup.
I don't think so.
They thumped them in the Carling Cup, let's be
It
honest.
could be just like a 1-0, hey, for me.
And Leicester waited till the last minute to beat Ipswich after they got a red card.
Yeah.
Might be my heart speaking, but I see a thumping in this one.
Most likely.
Okay.
But
Man
I'm
United
saying
to win
2-0,
at home?
maybe United win, but not
2.5 over United
2.5
win.
over. Yeah.
So it could be a 2-1, could be a 3-0. None of those results will surprise you.
Yeah, it's not going to be like your 5-0, 4-1,
No, it can't be.
5-1.
Not mopping the floor yet.
No, not a big thumping like that. They're not Sundowns.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Forest against Newcastle.
Forest.
It's a nice fixture. that
Two
one.
good sides. Forest
But Newcastle,
on a high.
But I still see a Forest win.
A Forest win.
If I can figure out how to place a bet on Chris Wood and Isak to score, I would bet on that.
Yeah.
Anytime scorer, Isak and Chris Wood on the Betway app, you're making money. But score draw,
I think Forest.
I
Forest
see a
to win?
Yeah.
sure. Okay, you guys have a lot of faith in that run going. If they do win that game, and we were talking about Man City losing or drawing to Brighton, if I look at the table now,
Yep.
if Forest win that game and City lose, they are literally a point behind Manchester City after 11 games.
That is crazy.
Imagine that. 1 point behind Manchester City. Who are you? Arsenal. Oh my goodness.
Look where Arsenal is, eh?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Now they might have. Okay, let me not
Not
say.
yet.
Not
No,
yet.
It's too soon.
Let me not say anything.
But
It's
they
too soon,
have,
yeah.
in the last game that we're previewing for this weekend, they have to travel to Stamford Bridge and play against Chelsea.
And not a very forgiving Chelsea, huh?
And this is a difficult period for Arsenal.
And
They're
away as well.
away at Stamford Bridge. Cole Palmer could just switch it on and Arsenal could get their butt shown to them.
Yep. I think it's gonna be a draw.
It's anyone's game, that one.
I think it's gonna
Look, if it's a draw, they're both on 19 points, 4th and 5th currently. Aston Villa, we don't expect them to go and get a win, so the table sort of stays as it is in the way that at least the top half of the table. So, yeah, that's a wrap of our Premier League predictions with Betway. Final thoughts, Tepi darling. Do we want to get into the story of South African football for the weekend?
The story of South African football, meaning the knockouts.
No. Yeah. Mugaila.
Makhaila.
I
Mokhaila. Yeah.
Mokhaila.
Oh man. You guys. I mean, I still stand by this, that this could happen to everyone, anyone. Of course, there is negligence. Of course, you need to know better. You could have done better. I am referring to the Sekhukhune FC player who got into a car accident. In fact, it was a head-on collision. He was allegedly, we're not sure exactly if he was truly under the influence, but I mean, we've seen videos, as well as pictures of, alcohol in the vehicle. He did run away from the scene, but eventually went and handed himself in. Thoughts, guys? Mind you, condolences to, the family, because they have lost a child, and I believe the mother is still recovering in hospital or in ICU.
Yeah, no, what a tragedy. When things like this happen and there's a life lost, it even cuts even deeper, and
a young one at that.
And I mean that's a life lost, and I think for him, wherever he is right now, I think he's regretting, because in as much as it was bad, I don't think he woke up that day thinking that's how this day is gonna end, But I think
he was playing, wasn't it, that day? Were they not playing the day before?
They were playing the night before, but I think as footballers needs to do better. All this horrific accident that footballers get involved in, most of the time you find out they were intoxicated, and all of that.
Or they were skiing in the snow.
That's the thing,
Allegedly.
Yeah, they need to do better, because there's a life that is lost and there's a career that is lost. Obviously losing a life, it's way bigger. You can pick up the pieces, but my heart goes to the family of the lady that lost the child, and fighting for her life. She might not even know that her little one is gone.
I think the last time I checked, she was not told.
I mean, it's a sad story all round, but I think as footballers, as people as well, we need to do better. As South Africans, we've got an issue with alcohol. That's the reality. We need to do better. It does not only stop with footballers.
I just want to know, I'm not sure what the rules are, but when you play in a different province, for example, do you not use the bus to travel back to your homes, or like what's?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes if you are playing, I think Skukune is based in Polokwane. I don't know. I don't know where they are based. Remember?
Skukune, but Nto was saying, okay, anyway, continue. Yeah, Marbamu around.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I hear.
After the game, sometimes you go to the hotel or you go to where you assemble, and then they just get into their cars and they go home.
Sharp.
I think back in the days they used to say camp. You leave on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's cost involved. If you are playing on a Saturday afternoon, I mean, there's no need for you to still be camping. You go back to your families.
You do have a life.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one time during my heydays, and I was at some establishment in Midrand, and Mamelodi Sundowns was playing at Loftus.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an evening game. I kid you not. Around 1 a.m., there were, I think, about 3 Mamelodi Sundowns players in that establishment, and they had a game at that night. So, which means after the game, they just went get their cars, and they were at that establishment. So it's crazy. I think they just need to do better.
Marco?
I'll read some of the sentiments here. Bongani Chabalala saying, what happened to random drug testing in football, though, to some extent, I think the PSL is to blame. That the PSL needs to be... look, at least Bongani does say to some extent, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thoughts on it. And Tabiso Francois saying the mother is not aware that the kid is gone, and that's deeply sad.
She just might not even
if
recover.
you wake up in ICU and you hear that your child is gone from the incident, and it seems like the family is outraged and they're very upset that he was granted bail to the extent that he was granted.
Yes, I believe he got 20,000 bail?
20,000 bail, rightfully so, but we are a democratic state, and we've got those
we
laws.
We have to accept the laws of the court, etc.
And it's not a flight risk.
Okay, and my deep condolences to the family who've lost people. It's very, very sad news, and I think the young boy's career is over.
Yeah, he's done.
It's after, to the extent of this crime. Let's be honest, it's a crime. We know it's a crime to drive a vehicle intoxicated at all. Allegedly. And when people have lost, allegedly intoxicated, it seems like he was intoxicated. Hence the bail hearing to the extent that it was. It's
telling.
And I'd like to just close on one final thought here that I picked up. Z King SA. I nearly said this as a name that I would have horribly pronounced, but it looks like it's Z King SA. It's getting lonely at the top for Orlando Pirates.
Oops.
Remember, don't be offside, be onside with us and Betway, where you get way more. Danko.
Please, thank you.
Long show.
Are we done?